Open your mind. This episode will discuss why it is so crucial to have an open mind. So let's first compare an open mind with a closed mind. A closed mind can sometimes be a good thing. It can be a very effective defense mechanism as it discourages us from taking risky decisions and to only stick with what we know best, allowing us to block out outside influences, including negative influences. It allows us to be more grounded and be more focused on what we think is important. And a closed mind allows us to have a strong will, which makes it difficult for things or other people to easily manipulate us. However, a closed mind can lead to stubbornness, arrogance, and a dead end. Now, on the other hand, an open mind can be risky and a little scary at times, as we begin to wonder and accept ideas that might make us feel uncomfortable, or that seem way too impossible or irrational for us to believe. However, having an open mind allows us to be more creative and to think beyond the box, and therefore not be subject to the limitations of our rational way of thinking. Although this might seem irrational to many, this can allow us to obtain answers to questions that we thought were impossible to answer, or to reach milestones that were once considered unrealistic. Thus, an open mind can lead us to innovation, discovery, growth, and progress if we are courageous enough to have an open mind. In the words of Albert Einstein, imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. Having an open mind allows us to break free from the chains of this physical reality, to think beyond this material realm, so that we may grow both in the spiritual and physical sense. Now, there are a numerous amount of people and civilizations throughout history that conducted incredible creativity, discovery, and innovation with the insight of abstract thinking, through practices such as spiritual or psychedelic journeys and meditation. With these spiritual practices, these individuals and civilizations obtained insight that they could not have inspired to find within our 3D limited material realm. From ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians and Mayans, that used psychedelic compounds like the blue lotus or magic mushroom, which inspired them to create some of the most monumental structures and advancements in human history, to the brilliant scientists and innovators, such as John Lilly, Francis Cedric, and Steve Jobs, who have also used psychedelic compounds, which played a pivotal role in the discovery of the DNA structure, recent technological innovation, and groundbreaking understanding of the functionality of the brain and sensory communication between species. These are only a few examples of how spiritual inspiration or abstract thinking have been manifested into the physical world. Other examples include how the creation of the periodic table as we know it today was envisioned by a powerful dream that Dmitri Mendeleev had during sleep, as well as how the concept of the movie Avatar came to James Cameron during a dream that he had while he was sleeping. We certainly do not give enough credit to the power of abstract thinking, the power of psychedelic or spiritual journeys, as these practices have allowed humanity to progress, discover, and innovate through the inspiration of unlimited creativity time and time again. So why do so many of us have a difficult time believing in the spirit realm, aka the non-physical or abstract realm, and that consciousness has the ability to access such realms that are not bound by physical laws? Could this be the result of being so close-minded where we stubbornly believe that this everyday physical reality is the only reality and that it's impossible for other realities to exist? The same way a fish that lived its entire life in a pond would have absolutely no concept as to how a city would look like from a bird's eye view. It would be very easy for the fish to accept the belief that there was no such thing as a city. From the perspective of the fish, the concept of a city would simply be impossible to grasp, because the fish is limited by the reality of its everyday environment, the pond. Yet such a place does exist, even if the fish will never see it. The same thing can be said about how scientists cannot make sense of the physics within the quantum realm, as it seems to completely contradict our understanding of physical reality. Yet the quantum realm and its physics do in fact exist, despite the fact that it seems impossible for such a concept to be real. So ideas that seem impossible to us are easy for us to reject, because they force us to think impossibly, as these ideas are beyond our limited thinking capacity. However, in order for us to go beyond our capacity, we must be open-minded, as this will allow us to grow out of our frontier and not remain stale, and therefore realize that things we thought were impossible are actually quite possible. Once again, Albert Einstein had reminded humanity of this in the past. Just like the Catholic Church in the 15th century thought it was blasphemy and foolish to believe that the world was round and that nothing existed beyond the Atlantic Ocean, or to say that the Earth is the only planet with life in the vastness of the universe, and that there are no other planets out there that also contain life. It would be as arrogant of us to believe that our everyday material reality is the only reality, and that there are no other realities beyond it. So in conclusion, we should not be afraid to ponder on the potentiality of non-physical realities. Although our consciousness might be comfortable being closed off to such possibilities, our history has shown that this is not what consciousness is meant to do. It is meant to imagine, to ask, what if? Consciousness is meant to travel, discover, expand, and continuously surpass its limits. This is spiritual growth. Thanks for watching.